Good evening, guys. It's Darren from Jace Media, and tonight in the chair we're crossing to South Africa to chat with award-winning blues guitarist Mr. Dan Patlansky. How are you, Dan? Good evening.
Good evening. I'm great, brother. Great to chat to you, and thanks so much for having me.
Listen, it's my pleasure. So, what's been keeping you busy? What have you been doing with yourself?
It's a good question. It's been a very, obviously for everyone, an interesting couple of years. But how I've been keeping busy is I've been doing a lot of online teaching, a lot of writing. I mean, we don't often get this much time to sit at home and kind of noodle around and come up with ideas. I've been doing this Patreon thing where I kind of, people subscribe to guitar content online, and recording this new album that's just been released. So that's pretty much the last 2.5 years of my life has just been that completely,
So the album, is it going to be worth the wait?
I think so. I really, really think so. I think every artist will tell you, yeah, my latest album is my best work ever, right?
Yeah.
And, that's just a natural thing. But, I haven't always felt that about albums, right? I really haven't. Sometimes I think, yeah, the album's good, but I think we missed the mark in certain areas. But on this one, I'm really chuffed with the album. I'm really chuffed with the way it came out. Once again, I had the time that I've never had in my life before to really refine the songs, the production, the playing, all of that on the album. So I definitely feel it's been worth the wait. Yeah.
Here's a question for you then. What makes the album so good? What gave you the drive? I know we've had time, but what makes this one different from your other nine? What's the driving force behind it?
Well, a couple of things, right? So in the past, I was working with certain people that were, and not to knock anyone, but I was working with certain people that kind of in a way choked the direction a little bit and said, no, it's got to be like this. It's got to go into a particular direction. So that's disappeared, right? So I could really do an album that I wanted to do. But on the other hand, I've worked with, the old people I used to work with. I worked with great producers over the last couple of years, and I learned so much from working with the producers. I try to suck in as much information and as much knowledge as I could, and I learned a ton from these guys. So it was almost a mixture of both of those two worlds colliding, I suppose. That kind of where Shelter of Bones came from. It's an album that I think is very palatable for even non-blues freaks, like just music lovers. But it also satisfies hardcore blues guys, hardcore classic rock guys. And it's an album, I always say, I want to make an album that I would buy if it wasn't my album, if you know what I mean. An album that I would listen to. And that's really what my aim was. And I feel I've done that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think everybody's always learning. So I think that that when you work with some cool producers and and lyricists and people like that and mixers, you do. I think when you spend so much time, you do suck a bit of life out of them because you want to go on in life and say, I could probably do this, I could probably do that. Do you know? And you're right, make what you consider is one of your best albums because it's been made by you and how you wanted to make it.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And I think it's such an important thing for an artist, right? Is to get that vision in your head across to the listener, right? And so often you kind of get the vision across, but it's kind of diluted a little bit, just because someone else's vision has gotten in the way. And sometimes that's a good thing, it really, really is.
Yeah.
Especially when you're starting off, that's the point of producers, right? But, I've because I've worked with so many great producers, I've learned so much from them. And all I'm doing is applying the stuff that they've shown me in my own little way, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can feel that from Bad Soul.
Hmm.
That's I had to listen to it twice before I kind of got the groove, and I watched the video, and I'm thinking, wow, this is quite, it kind of consumes you a little bit
Sure.
when you listen to it. You think, wow, the lyrics are kind of real, they're real from the heart, and you think, fuck, that's just like,
Brilliant.
and I haven't posted it yet, but I have my this is my review of the single,
Oh,
and
brilliant. Thank you.
hopefully it'll be posted tomorrow. Um, but I was hoping to get it out today, but I've just been so I've been so busy, um, and I had to ask Peter again for the album because it's been lost in the quagmire that is my music files somewhere. So I'm having to
No
ask him.
problems, brother. No problems at all, man.
I'll have it down to a T when I come to see you for sure.
Brilliant.
I'll
Brilliant.
hopefully we'll get a little chat when you come to Oranmore, get a little
Oh,
photograph, and we'll.
man, you know what, brother? It will be fantastic to meet you in person. And please come down and let's have a sit down. It will be brilliant, man.
Yeah, listen, I can't wait to come down and have a chat with you. What I say to people is this is the best part of my job. Getting to chat to musicians and kind of getting to know you, getting to know what you're all about, and then when you meet them in person, it's like an old mate. All right, buddy, I haven't seen you forever, but you sit down, you have a chat, and I guess this is
Exactly.
what this is all about, Dan. It's just it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
nice way to break the ice, so that when you do come into Glasgow, you'll have a rousing reception because Glaswegians love a good night out. They love a bit of blues. So I'm sure you're going to
Well,
have a fantastic night.
in my experience, I've never done my own show in Glasgow, but I've done a bunch of support shows like in the past. I've done Satriani, Joanne Shaw Taylor, King, and I've always loved playing in Glasgow because I just feel there's and I'm not just saying this, I genuinely from the bottom of my heart mean this. There's I don't know how to put this. There's an incredible energy in Scotland that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. That I feel there's a special magic there, and I've always loved performing there. So I'm really excited to come and actually do my own show there for the first
Yeah,
time.
you mentioned King. They're really good friends of mine.
Oh yeah.
Big Alan and that are really good buddies of mine. And he always says that. He says that when you go on tour, there is nowhere like Glasgow. It's just incredible. The people, they just embrace who comes into the venue, and they just get into the groove, and they really they really want to saturate themselves with your style of music. So I am absolutely sure you're going to have a banging night. I'll be down the front, with my pad, reviewing your show.
Yeah, sure.
I'll be there. I'll be there right away. What I do when I come to a show, I do a complete bio of yourself. I then do a track by track playthrough of the show, and then I do a set list at the end. And I have about 188, 190,000 viewers that
Wow.
I get every
Brilliant.
month. We send the stuff. This video when it goes out will go to America, it'll go to Australia, it goes to Europe. People will see the big ugly Scottish guy chatting to the blues guitarist. Thinking, what's he all about? Who's he talking to now? And we send it all over, and it gets great reception. People just, I think they like I said earlier on, they like to get inside the mind of the person that I'm interviewing, and just
Sure.
find out what makes you tick, what you like, what you don't like. Do you like touring? Do you prefer being at home? And when you get into the questions, people just go, "Well, that was brilliant." It was just 25 minutes or 20 minutes of chatting, Some of it's a pile of nonsense, but some of it's all about the music, about you, you know, and kind of what you're going to bring when you go on tour. And I guess you'll be looking forward to hitting the road.
Well, damn. I mean, Darren, it's been, it's been, we've been starved. I mean, not just audiences, but musicians have been starved for playing for audiences. And, you know, during this pandemic, when, you know, in the height of it, when nothing was kind of open and we were all stuck at home properly, you know, there was that live streaming thing that we, you know, we were doing. And I did 2 of them, and they were pretty successful, but it was the weirdest thing I've ever had to do in my life, because, you know, there's a bunch of people watching this, but you've got to keep telling yourself that, right? And what I ended up doing is, on these performances, I didn't actually speak in between the songs, because I felt like I was speaking to the cameraman, you know,
He's your best mate.
yeah. And you're just like, oh, well, the next song is whatever. And you just kind of jump into it and play it. So the whole thing of getting back to playing for live audiences. And for me, I've always said, what makes a good gig and a bad gig, the difference between the two, it's the energy from the audience. That's it. And this could be an audience of 5 people. It could be an audience of 3,000 people, right? Yeah. If you're getting an energy, right, as musicians on stage, when you're standing up there and you kind of still kind of feeling out the gig and, you know, finding your footing, and you play something or sing something or do something on stage, and you get a response from someone in the audience, even one person, you know, they might shout like, yeah, or whatever. It's amazing. That bit of energy, it just boosts you, right? And when you get that, you start playing better, you start singing better, you start performing better, and then the audience starts reacting better, and it's this cycle of energy. Yeah. And that's, for me, the greatest gigs I've ever had and the greatest performances I've ever had, is it's always been due to the audience, without a doubt, because the audience fuel the great performance, right? I mean, and on the other hand, I could play for, you know, you could go play for 80,000 people, but if they all sit there just kind of staring at you and going at the end, very nice, just a polite clap, you kind of feel like, ooh, you know, you feel awkward and like it's just not, and you tend to snowball and get less and less confident within that performance. So that's what I missed. I missed that dynamic and those special nights where the audience just are with you the whole way, and it elevates you. And that's what I'm looking forward to getting back to.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I kind of think that when you go to a gig, and, you know, I think at the moment as well, because a lot of gigs are like seated, you know, have a seat, and you're thinking you want to get up and rock out, you know, and put your hands in the air and play the air guitar, you know, and but I think you're right. I think the audience make you, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but they'll make you a better performer. They will go, this guy is fucking awesome, and I just want to get up and rock out. Or they go, I'm just not feeling it tonight, and you're like, wow, because you then think, what am I doing wrong? You know, I do what I do every night, and there's just nothing coming back. So I guess you're absolutely right, Dan. I think the audience fuels the fire in you, that you want to go, I want to give my best for an hour and a half, an hour and 50 minutes, 2 hours, and leave the stage and go, do you know what? They'll be talking about this gig for a long time. And I think that's, you know, I think you're right. That's what a lot of people have been missing.
Yeah, that's it, man. And that's the beauty of live music. That's what you don't get when you watch music on YouTube, you know, or you know, when you're not in the room with the band, right? You miss that energy, right? And for me, you know, everyone always says to me, like, you know, aren't you worried that after this pandemic, people are used to being at home now? They're used to sitting at home, and they've found different ways to entertain themselves, right? So if they want to watch some music and a live thing, they watch it on their TV or their computer, and they sit back with a drink, you know, on the couch, and that's the gig, right? That's the gig. But what people miss is that energy in the room, the energy between the audience and the band, and that back and forth. And for me, that's the magic of live music.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right. When you walk into a venue and you get the buzz and you get the feeling and you get the, you know, the excitement of the crowd, and then the lights go down, and then you get the intro music, and then all of a sudden someone busts onto the stage and you just go, wow, this is what I've been waiting for. And I think you're right. I think that's what's been missing. You know, I went, as I say, I cover probably, I'm probably out 4 nights a week doing shows. I'm everywhere, and if I'm not out, I'm interviewing guys like yourself. And if I'm not interviewing, I'm reviewing. I probably get 40, 50 bits of music every week into my inbox from different genres all over the world. But you're right, nothing beats the excitement of, you know, getting your stamp and walking into the venue and going, wow,
Yeah.
I can't wait. And all of a sudden you burst into life and people go, fuck, this is what I've been waiting for, you know, and I'm really excited to see how the Glasgow audience react when you burst onto stage. You know, you've obviously got Ariel with you, which is a nice wee bonus. But I guess for you, it's all about you pulling out all the stops and doing your thing.
Yeah, well, for me, um, the live performance dynamic is so different to the studio dynamic and the recording kind of dynamic. And in many senses, that's the world we've lived in now for the last little while. So, don't get me wrong. I've just finished a tour here in South Africa, right, of Shelter of Bones, and it was great to get out, right? And I honestly found on the first couple shows, it was a shock to my system playing live again, right?
Yeah.
Because it's such a different dynamic. It's like you in this uncontrolled environment compared to a studio. This is my studio I'm sitting in right now. When I'm playing in here, I'm in complete control of every element of the sound,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
if it's not right, what I do, I stop. I go, no, let me tweak that. Let me tweak the
Yeah.
amp. It's not sounding right to my ears. Now, all of a sudden on stage, there's no time for that. It's a performance. It's in the moment. And that took, I got to be honest, like 2 or 3 shows just to kind of get the ball, the ball rolling again and get
Grease the
into it.
wheels and make sure it's right. It's almost like you have to learn to play all over again.
You do. And it's not even play all over again. It's perform, right? Because, in a studio, you just sit and you play. And
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a performer where I'm doing like somersaults on stage and all that. I mean, I'm not that active on stage, but you got to perform, and performance is not necessarily about just moving your body around. It's about putting that energy out there, right, into a thing. And you're speaking about Alan earlier, right? Now I've toured with King twice, right? I've done a UK tour with him many years ago as a support, and I've done a German tour with him as a support, probably just before COVID happened. And that was one of the biggest things I learned, is because for me, Alan, besides being an incredible guitar player and a very, very, he's one of the most tasteful, soulful guitar players. He's an incredible singer. He's an incredible songwriter. But for me, the thing that beats all of those is his performance and the way he can perform and grab an audience by the nuts, right? Like every single night, right? Now, not everyone possesses that, right? That's a very unique trait and talent. Yeah, it's a skill set there. And I always ask Alan, I was like, how do you do that, man? I always ask him, and he's always like, I don't know. It's just, we just get up there and play and have a good time. But, I don't know if he even realizes it, but that talent that he has, besides the music side, that is something unbelievable. And I always, that's something I strive for, right? Is that ability to take any audience, small, large, in any city, and to be able to take them on this journey. And I've toured with many artists, and I've told this to Alan. I've never seen an artist do that as well as Alan does it, right? Nowhere else in the world, right? And that, for me, it makes King special. Is that Alan factor, right?
maybe you should tell me to bottle it, Dan, and then we can sell it to people. Listen, do the Alan Nimmo shuffle or the Alan Nimmo. Like, I get what you're saying, because do you know what? Scottish people we're funny as fuck, right? Everybody just
Yeah,
loves. We come out with jokes. Sometimes the way we say things, people go, "Wow, that's really funny." But in Glasgow, it's just a normal saying or a phrase. But I guess when you're with other people, people hear the broad Scottish accent and they think, "Wow, he's just as cool as anything," you know. And I guess it's just, I think what you're saying is right. I think it's honing the whole persona, you know, of writing, recording, playing, and grabbing the audience, you know. And
yeah,
he's got that down to a T, you know. He's a big lug of a lad, but he's got the gentlest soul, you know. I've spent
yeah,
many a night with Alan, and he's just such a laugh, you know. We just take the piss out of each other, but you know, he's an incredible musician, and I'm glad he got to spend some tours with him because, you know, he will be humble and say, "Oh, don't be stupid, big man. It's nothing to do with that." But you know, he's got this talent that, you know, and I think he likes to kind of, you know, pass it around, you know. And I'm hoping
yeah.
that, you know, through the time you've spent with him, you've sort of got something out of it.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and
And you know,
I'm hoping that he may be down at the show when you play. He
yeah,
may
I
come
mean,
down.
if King aren't on the road themselves, you know, I mean, they're busy lads, those, you know. But
Yeah, they're
you
busy
know,
boys.
but you know, the main thing I got was from working with Alan and King, was inspiration in the sense of what I was talking about. I mean, and it's not just that. I mean, as a guitar player and as a singer, he's massively inspiring. You know, we play very differently, me and Alan, right? But
Yeah,
Alan has this, you know, he plays like Alan, and the way Alan plays, I love, man. It's
yeah.
like I can't get enough of it because it's just soulful. It's right. It's musical.
It really
It's unreal.
flows. It's just a flow, which is really
Yeah,
good, Dan. So
yeah.
on that point, how, how how did your fans react when you had your tour, when you've just finished? How did they react to you?
Well, the greatest thing was, you know, because there's a whole bunch of new stuff happening. We haven't played in a while, number one, right? So, and number two, we playing, you know, a lot of songs off the new album. Yeah, plus older ones, you know, too, and back catalog stuff, but a lot of new album stuff. Now, you know, when you release an album, the first thing you worry about is anyone going to like the album, right? Is anyone going to even give the album to a moment's notice? So that happened, and we got possibly the best response ever on any album, which it was more of a relief than anything, because I've been sitting on this album for the last 3 years. So you're going, well, I hope it's not a pile of crap that I've just made, you know, that I've lost perspective in my ears, and then everyone goes, oh, this is terrible. But you know, the reviews we've got, everything have been absolutely cracking so far. Then the next step is like, how are the songs going to translate it, you know, live? And so we put the set together, and we hit the road, and you know, keeping in mind we're still fairly limited in South Africa to the numbers we can have in venues.
Yeah,
So we still got limitations. We've got 50% capacity at the moment, right? But still, we did the tour, and the reaction and the response was absolutely fantastic. And it's kind of that little, you know, it's what I needed, man. It really is what I needed, you know, just a little injection of confidence, I suppose. That's what it is. You know, you lose
yeah.
confidence when you spend this much time off the road. So you need that confidence back, and especially in the set that we, you know, the live set that we're currently touring, and the live set that we're bringing to the UK and to Glasgow, right? It's you know, it just gives you that yes, this works. The set works, and then means you can put your entire self behind it, because you
Yes.
know there's something there, and then you can give it your all, type of thing. You know, you're
I
not
kind of
flogging a
think
dead.
I kind of think that you know that you're right. I think that's the inspiration. I think when you know that it works, you know that it's going to work anywhere. So when you know when you take it on the road, especially when you come to Europe, you know, and Britain and the like, where people they want to feel a certain kind of uh, rawness from you. They get into it and they go, "Wow, that was a great show," you know. So I think when you try and test it in your own home country, and you know that the people love what you do, I guess coming to Britain, you know, because we're a nation of freaks that love blues music, we love rock, we love, you know, just getting out on a night out. So I am very, very, very sure that you're going to have a fantastic night in Glasgow and all over. You know, you're starting in Norwich and you finish in Europe, you know, so it's a bit of a slog, but I guess it'll be worth it, you know, because like you say, you want to get out and play. Now, my last gig was the 28th of February, 2020.
Wow.
When I saw Samantha Fish in Glasgow, and then the world came to a standstill. And basically, I sat at home for probably 15 months, 16 months, and didn't go to a live show. I was doing, like you were saying, your live Patreon and your live streaming stuff. But I think getting out and planting your feet firmly in a venue and going, I really can't wait tonight to see this dude fucking melt my face with his guitar. And if he doesn't, I'm going to tell him how shite he was. Do you know? So you know, there is a bit of that. So
Sure.
I guess that, you know, the fans, because you'll have your loyal fan base in Glasgow as well as anywhere. So I guess they just can't wait to see you strutting on stage. Now, taking back when you said I'm not the kind of musician that does somersaults, I think if you did somersaults in Glasgow, people would pay money to see that. So maybe you need to hone your skills on that, Dan.
I think so. I think that's another little sideline business I could maybe get into is just somersaulting shows. You know what I mean? With
Somersault with your guitar, somersault and say to people, give me £5 and I'll somersault for you, you know, and that's another side maker. So I think it could work.
I think you're onto something there, bro.
I think, Dan, I think I am. I think you come on and you get ideas when you talk to musicians and you think, yeah, that would work. Let's do some somersaults. People will pay money. Get videos and shit like that. People will pay money for this stuff, man. So when are you setting off to come to Britain? When are you setting off?
I'm leaving tomorrow night, right? So yeah, kind of at the moment, just kind of packing up all the gear, getting all that ready, you know, making sure I've got enough socks and, you know,
pants and shit
in the bag and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the usual, because, you know, once again, that's another skill set you forget how to do is pack for a tour. And, you know, when you're doing it all the time, you can do it in your sleep. You just pack the bag and you got everything you need. But now you got to rack your brain to say, do I have everything? So tomorrow night I head off, got a long journey. I think it's via Abu Dhabi or one of those places, which is a little bit of a detour, but man, chuffed to be coming out and go land and, you know, start rehearsing with the band, my UK band. And then we hit the road from the 31st.
Right, I tell you what, I can't wait. I think when you come to Oranmore, I think I'll touch base with you early. We'll go down, we'll get a chat. And yeah, we'll do that. Sometimes when you go, your management are like, oh, he doesn't want to talk, he doesn't want to do this, you know. And I just, you know, what I like to do is just get a little photograph for my website, you know, to say, I'm with this dude tonight, you know, and people kind of get the vibe. So I think when you come to Oranmore, I'll contact you early. We'll get down for a chat if that's all right.
Come on, brother. I look forward to it, man.
I will post out that you're coming to Glasgow to my warrior followers and get down to the gig. And I really can't wait to see you, Dan. I hope you have a fantastic time. I really hope you rock out, and I really hope that you enjoy coming to Glasgow and doing your own headline show. I can't wait to see you, brother.
Well, Darren, thank you, brother. I can't wait to meet you. Hope to see some of your followers at the show. And brother, it's been a great pleasure chatting to you, man. Really, a great pleasure, man.
Dan, thank you so much for your time. I know you've got so much to do, but I thought it would be nice just to catch a quick chat with you before you hit the road, so that you won't be annoyed with this crazy Scottish guy when he bumps into you or more when you come down on the on the third. So Take care, be safe, travel well, and we'll hook up when you get to Glasgow.
Darren, cheers for now, brother.
This is Darren from Jace Media in conversation with South African award-winning blues guitarist, Mr. Dan Patlansky, saying, Dan, pleasure to see you. Can't wait till you get to Glasgow, and keep rocking, brother. Take care, mate.
Brother, thank you so much, man. We'll catch you soon.